Okay, so in this video, I'm going to give you some practice problem about how to solving with radical. Okay, so let's starting with an easier one, such as square root of 2x plus 3 minus 3 equals to 0. So the first step is always trying to isolate the radicals. So that means I want to move the non-radical to the right, which is I want to add 3 on both sides. After that, we square root on both sides. So I have, when I square root them, let me write down the step. Isolate the radicals. Sometimes one radical, sometimes a two. And then after you isolate one, you square them both sides. So that, 3. I shouldn't write 9. I'm jumping the steps. Okay. And then you square root them. You square them on both sides. Square root and square, they can cancel. So I have 2x plus 3 equals to 9. Now you can solve the x. So we're subtracting 3 on both sides. I have 6 divided by 2. I have 3. So that's your answer. Remember, always check your answer. You bring it back to the original function. I have square root of 2 times 3 plus 3 minus 3. We don't know if this is equal to 0. So I have 6 plus 3, 9 minus 3. And square root of 9 equals to 3 minus 3. And we know that 3 minus 3 equals to 0. So now we can say, hey, these two is equal. So x equals 3 is our solution. So now let's do one that's slightly harder, which is 6x minus 5 minus x. So it doesn't matter if the variable is inside the radical or not. Your first step is always isolate the radical. Okay, so I want to add x on both sides. So I have square root of 6x minus 5 equals to x. And then the next step is once you isolated the radical, you want to square them. I square them on both sides. So I have 6x minus 5 equals to x squared. And then this is what? It's just regular solving the equation by factoring, right? So how do you do it? You move all the terms, you set the equation equals to 0. Set the equations equals to 0. So I have x squared, you subtract 6x plus 5 on both sides, so that you got 0. Try to do it by yourself. And now let's factor it. I have x minus 5, use the AC method. If you don't remember, go back and review in the previous lecture how to factor the trinomial when a equals to 0. So I have x equals to 5 or x equals to 1. Okay, remember always to check the solution. So now let's see. If x equals to 5, I have what? 6 times 5 minus 5, subtract 5, equals to 0, maybe. So I have square root of 25 minus 5 equals to 0, maybe. Square root of 25 equals to 5, 5 minus 5. Oh, we know that this is equals to 0. So x equals to 5 is the solution. One of the solution. We still need to check the other one. So I have, let's say if x equals to 1. So I have what? 6 times 1 minus 5 minus 1 maybe equals to 0. We don't know yet, so that's why there's a question mark. And then I have a 5 minus 5 minus 1 maybe equals to 0. 5 minus 5 equals to what? 0. Square root of 0. And then 0 minus 1 equals to what? Negative 1. And we know that negative 1 is not equal to 0. So that means x equals to 1 is not the solution. So we cross this one. Okay, so that means in this specific question, I forgot to times 6, do I? Yes, I forgot to times 6. Oh, I did it wrong. Sorry. You may caught me. So it should be 6 minus 5. Not. I'm going to use a red one to correct my answer. This is 6 minus 5. Square root of 1 minus 1 indeed equals to 0. So 0 equals to 0. So this is also our answer. Sorry, I did it wrong. X minus 1, also, x equals to 1 also our solution. Okay, next one. What about this? 3 plus x equals to 6s plus 13. Solve for x. Look, this one, the radical already isolated. So that means we don't need to do it anymore. We just need to go ahead and square them on both sides. So now let's square them. So this is the perfect trinomial. It's equals to 9 plus 6x plus x squared equals to square root and square. You cross cancel. You have 6x plus 13. And then set the equation equals to 0. So we subtract 6x on both sides. And then minus 13 on both sides. So I end up to have x squared minus 4 equals to 0. This is not hard. The difference of square, we factor, we have x minus 2, x plus 2 equals to 0. So I have x equals to 2 or x equals to negative 2. Again, you need to plug the function into the original function and track the answer. So let's say if x equals to 2, we have 3 plus 2 equals to 6 times 2 at 13. So I have 5 equals to 12 plus 13. We don't know if these two is equal or not. So that's why we put a question mark. If they're equal, that means we found a solution. If it's not, then we need to try something else. 5 and square root of 25. Yes. So x equals to 2 is the solution. We do the same thing for negative 2. So I have, if x equals to negative 2, we plug in the original function, x plus negative 2 equals to 6 times negative 2 at 13. So I have 1, we don't know if this is equal. 6 times negative 2 is negative 12 plus 13. So I have 1 and square root of 1. So that means 1 is equal to 1. Square root of 1 equals to 1. So that means x equals to 2, also our solution. You circle it. Okay, so let's do a really hard one. Square root of x minus 2x, subtract 2x plus 3 equals to 3. Okay, so the first one is you want to isolate one of the radical first. Because we want to cancel it one by one. Okay, so if it's 6x minus 2x, I want to move this one to the right. So I have 3 at 2 times 2s plus 3. Okay, and then we square them. When I square them, remember, you square it on both sides. Not just the radical, all the number is the both sides. So on the right, okay, on the left, easy, is 6 minus 2x. On the right, be careful, you need to FOIL it. Oh, this is the perfect trinomial. It's not just equal to 6 at 4 times 2. Okay, let me be more specific. It's not just equals to 2 times square root of 2s plus 3 and then square. No, you still need to times 2 times square root of 2s plus 3. Because the perfect trinomial, remember, is a squared plus 2ab plus b squared equals to a plus b squared. There's a 2ab, which is here, 2 times a times b. Okay, so now simplify it. So I have a 6 minus 2x equals to 9 plus, this is 12 square root of 2x plus 3 plus here, you square root both, you have 4 times 2x plus 3. Now we repeat by isolated one radical. But before then, you can try to simplify it first. So this is subtract. I have a 6 minus 2x equals to 9 plus 12 times 2x plus 3 plus ax plus 12. Okay, move these things to the left side by subtracting them. So I have 6 minus 9, which is negative 3, minus 12, negative 15, negative 2x minus ax, which is negative 10x, equals to 12 square root of 2x plus 3. Now, after you isolated another radical, you square them again. Again, the idea is if you see two more radical, more than one radical, what you do is you isolate one radical, you square them, and then isolate another radical and square them. You just repeat. Okay, so when I square them, you square here and here, the whole things. So by the perfect square, here should equal to 15a squared plus 2 times a times b, and then plus b squared equals to 141, because 12 squared equals to 141 times 2x plus 3. Okay, the number is big, but it's easy. The idea is easy. So I have a 225 plus 30. This has become positive now. 300x plus 100 equals to, distribute 144 inside, I have a 288x plus 432. Okay, let me double check. Let me use a calculator. Yeah, I'm right. Okay. Let me see if I'm missing anything. Oh, this is 10x. This is 10x, so this should be 100x squared. Okay, so now double check if I'm missing anything. Okay, now you just solve it by factor, right? Let's set the equation equals to 0 first. We subtract 288 and subtract 413. Okay, so I have 100x squared minus 12x minus 207 equals to 0. And then you factor it. I'm going to skip it here and try to do it by yourself. Hold on, I found out that I may write this problem wrong. You may call it a long time ago. Here. So when I try to add this one here, it's not 2 times. I don't know why would I write a 2 here. I guess maybe I meant to write. I don't know. So let me redo this, but the idea is the same. So here, let's try to do it right this time. Try to do it by yourself. Again, the first step is always trying to isolate it one radical, which is 6 minus 2x equals to 3 at 2x plus 3. You want to isolate one radical. Okay. So, and then you square them. I will have 6 minus 2x. This one is not hard. Now, this part is the hard part. So I will have what? 3 squared, which is 9, add 2 times 3, 6, which is 2x plus 2 plus 3. Okay, I hope I don't make any mistake again. And then plus 2x plus 3. Because the square root and square, they cancel. We follow by the perfect trinomial, which is a plus b squared equals to a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. Okay, so the next step is we isolate another radicals by subtracting them. So we end up to have what? We minus 2x on both sides, we minus 9, and then we minus 3. So I end up to have negative 6 minus 4x equals to 6 times 2x plus 3. And then we square them again, both sides. Everything on this. Okay. Again, we still need to apply the perfect trinomial, which is a squared plus 2 times a times b, and then plus b squared, which is equals to 36 times 2x plus 3. Okay, now let's simplify it. I have 36 minus, this has become plus now, 48x plus 16x squared equals to 72x plus 108. And now you want to set the equation equals to 0 so that you can factor it. So now let's set it equals to 0. You subtract 72x on both sides, and then subtract 108 on both sides. So let's see, what do I have? I have 16x squared minus 24x minus 72 equals to 0. Now let's factor the common factor, which is 4. Maybe let's try to factor the 4 out. So I have a 4x squared minus 6x minus 28. They can factor an 8 out, because you can factor another 2 on this number. So yes, if sometimes you don't see it right away, that's okay. You can factor it again. So let's factor the 8 out. I have a 2x squared minus 3x minus 9. Okay. And now you use the cross multiply or any method that you want, and then you factor here. So I have 2x, x, and then 3, negative, because 3 times negative 3 equals to negative 9. So I have negative 6x plus 3x equals to negative 3x. Okay, so that's what we want. So I have a times 2x plus 3 times x minus 3. Okay. This is equals to 0. So x is either 2x plus 3 equals to 0 or x minus 3 equals to 0. So that x equals to 2/3 or x equals to 3. Remember, you still need to check the answer. So go ahead and check it by yourself. Okay, that's it for today's practice. Let me know if you have more questions. Good luck! Don't make the same mistake as I do.